see a red light.
Okay, you're on. You're ready.
Okay. Hi, we're Bob and Betty, and we met Dr. Dale and Dr. Sherry originally through a referral from a friend. And we're both in our mid-60s, and we're at a time of life where we're interested in improving our health so we can invest in a future that will give us a quality of life. We were both overweight, we were both tired, and we didn't feel good. So we came in, and I would say this to anybody wondering about it. You can do this metabolic reset in a lot of ways, but we found it of inestimable value to be able to have two doctors who know us, who care about us, that we could ask a zillion questions to as we went along. So we began our program, and actually as we went through the first two phases in a period of about 50 days, I lost an average of 0.7 of a pound a day, and Betty lost an average of about half a pound a day. So the results were there, no doubt about it. It was not, going through that period of weight loss, it was not a problem in terms of hunger or feeling needy in that way or anything like that. And in the process, we learned an awful lot about our bodies and a lot about our eating habits and the difference between good eating habits that help you feel better and bad eating habits that make you overweight and not very happy with yourself. So I think that's kind of our little journey so far. We're in the moving into the fourth phase here shortly, and our metabolism is reset. We don't have any hunger. We're eating pretty well. And but again, I would go back and say, for anybody considering this, you need to do it under medical supervision. It'll be so much easier, I think. You know, we have peers who have seen with the change in us, who are kind of going on their own that way, and Dale didn't pay me to tell you this. But we're their medical supervision, because as they're trying to figure this out, if we're ahead of them in the path, and we are for I think all of them almost, then they tend to come to us and say, gee, I'm experiencing this, what does it mean? And of course we practice without a license and say, well, you know, this, that, and whatever. But you'll just have a much better experience and a more confident experience, I think, if you do it that way, and a lot less brain damage trying to figure it out, because it's more complex than you think when you're thinking about allergies, food allergies, and when you're thinking about your hormones. And we've got people that we know that are flying without that information, and they're struggling. And you know, they're losing weight, but they're not doing as well as we did.
So what you've done is you did the weight loss program, you did the food allergies,
yes,
and you also did the hormones.
Yes,
that's right.
We did.
And
that's
was
right.
that effective for you? You think that was
the
right way to go?
Yeah, you need to say something.
Actually, I wanted to come to begin with, long before we knew about Dale and Sherry, because I didn't feel right. My body wasn't functioning correctly. I knew that, but I had no idea why. And I did need to lose weight, but that wasn't my main reasoning for being here. That was great. I'm very happy about that. But I needed to understand why I was really tired when I woke up in the morning, why all through the day I would be unfocused. There were all kinds of reasons. I didn't understand all of that at the time until we did the food allergy tests and we did the hormone tests, and when those came back, I found I have lots of problems. But knowing makes it easier to deal with, obviously. But it's not just knowing, it's actually knowing how to fix it. And that's what we have learned here. And Bob's exactly right. The way the process takes you through, it teaches you about what you're eating and what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, how the calories and the fiber and the protein all work together. And that's really wonderful, because we'll be able to eat better the rest of our lives because we know about this. And the only part that was hard, and this was really hard for me, and I think for Bob too, is the first 2 days you eat 5,000 calories. Really, 5,000. And the first day I struggled through it and made it, but when I woke up the next morning, it's like, you've got to be kidding me. I have to do this again. The thought of food was just horrible. But we did it. And I didn't quite make the 5,000 the next day, but I was probably 150 away. That was really a struggle. But think it through before you start, because you don't really know how hard it's going to be. If you can find the foods that you really like, that's what Dale and Sherry told us, is to find foods that you really like and eat them. Which we didn't always do that because we were always overweight and we didn't want to do that. But so that was pretty cool in itself. But getting all of it in was really hard. But after that, never hunger. Not one time did we feel hungry to this day. And as Bob said, we're going into the later phases, and always we have felt satisfied with what we've eaten and felt healthier than we have in many, many years.
I think one thing to consider is this too. If you happen to be in our age cohort, and I said we're in our mid-60s, this is like unknown territory for us because we've had the benefit of better medical technology, we've had the benefit of better nutritional information, and unlike our parents or these older generations, we're in a much better place right now, but we're also in a much more difficult place because the other thing that's happening is we're not going to have access to the same, potentially at least, the same level of health care that our parents had. And so if you're thinking, like for us, we're imagining, barring any externalities, living to 90 or 100 without difficulty. But if you don't take care of your body, you still may make it to 90 or 100, but you may make it in misery. Or if you get some of these chronic conditions, and the onset is, say, after age 70 or 75, you may not be able to get treatment. And so it's such an investment in your future now to attack the easily correctable aspects of aging, so that when you're out there and you're in your mid-80s or your mid-90s, you're living a healthy, active, meaningful lifestyle. Because the fact that you have a pulse doesn't mean you're living. It just doesn't. And so you need to think about the changing landscape. We don't know if people our age at 105 will still be driving cars and playing golf and all that kind of thing, because it's unknown territory. It really is. But for our grandparents, 65 was the beginning of the end. For us, it's the beginning of the beginning.
Absolutely.
So you want to invest in your health. You really do.
Well, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
It was very kind of
You're
you.
very welcome.